It is a dark age. A bloody age. An age of war. The gods are cruel, and we are their playthings. But this is no game. It is ceaseless war, with the old world its prize. Many seek the path to victory, but only one can stand glorious over all. From the Badlands come the orcs and goblins, a green tide of brutal creatures that must be stopped. In Sylvania, the dead rise again. The vampire counts march forth. The mighty dwarf kingdoms, long thought diminished, are resurgent under their high king. And at the old world's heart stands the Empire. Karl Franz must prove worthy of the Warhammer. Then there is chaos. Its corrupting, changing taint despoils all before it. Only the strongest will endure. War is upon us. It is unending.
Hello guys, and welcome to a new series today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Total War Warhammer, and I hope you enjoyed the introduction to the game. The intro cinematic is just so awesome in this game. Yeah, Total War Warhammer. It's been a while since we did Total War. Last Total War campaign I believe I did was Caesar and Gaul, and that took me a year and a half, so I'm pretty sure this won't take me that long. I've been enjoying Warhammer an awful lot. But if you would like to check out my other Total War campaigns, I have done Rome Total War, I have done Rome 2 Total War as the Iceni, and then I did also Rome 2 Total War Caesar and Gaul. So yeah, here we are, Total War Warhammer, and basically I have been playing this a lot behind the scenes. I've already completed campaigns with the Vampires, Chaos and Wood Elves, and this time around I am going to take you through a campaign with the Wood Elves. Just because I enjoyed playing them so much, and I really thought that starting with them would be a great way to show off the game, especially considering it's also the latest DLC. And then honestly this could turn into a Beyond Earth thing where I end up doing multiple campaigns on the same game, and I really hope it does. So these are going to be pretty frequent episodes, or at least I'll try to keep them frequent. And I'll pump out content like a madman until each campaign is done, and we'll move on to the next one and the next one and the next one, and hopefully we can just have loads of Warhammer content on the channel, as long as you guys love it, of course. Make sure you let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Total War Warhammer and me doing a campaign on it. So anyway, let's move on without further ado. Start a new campaign. We're going to be doing the Grand Campaign. These two other campaigns are part of the DLCs, one's for the Beastmen, one's for the Wood Elves, but we are going to play the Wood Elves in the Grand Campaign for this one. So here you can see we have a lot of factions that we can pick and choose. Like I said before, I've completed one with the Wood Elves, I've completed one with the Vampire Counts, and I've also completed one with Chaos. But let's just have a look at the Wood Elves, their details. Rarely emerging from the forests unless it's in defence, the Wood Elves have little interest in other races' affairs. Only the preservation of Athel Loren matters to them. They will defend it to the last, led by Orion, their perennial king. Using the wild routes beneath the forest to travel, Elven armies emerge to surprise and defeat those who encroach upon Athelloren's woodland glades uninvited. So there you have it. So we also have Arguelon. Very similar. They just kind of use different units. So Arguelon is all about tree men, and the Wood Elves are just elves. And I absolutely loved playing with the elves. I loved the use of their missile-focused elven unit roster, as you can see at the bottom there. And we also have a lot of cavalry that we can use, and cheap cavalry as well. It's great. The world routes, we've got Amber to deal with. That's something that I'll talk through in the game. And then we also have the Elven Council, whereas when you play as Arguelon, they have the Tree Ancients instead. But we're going to play as the Wood Elves, so let's continue. Our faction leader is Orion. He is the overall leader of the Elves, and he is the king in the woods. He is a powerful melee and missile fighter, which is awesome. He has this massive spear that he can throw, and it does so much damage. And then he can also fight in combat as well, like hand to hand, and he's very strong at that as well. He has a powerful ability called Hounds of Orion, and basically what that does is knock people about. It's a very disruptive spell. We get additional starting units of Wild Riders, which are cavalry. We get Eternal Guard, which are our bread and butter infantry. And then we have Deepwood Scouts, which are sort of upgraded bowmen, as opposed to the ones that you get from the start. Now for our Lord effects, we get the Wild Hunt event that allows us to basically buff an army quite significantly. We get upkeep and recruitment costs for Wild Riders reduced by 50%. That means our cavalry is very cheap, like I said before. And leadership plus 10 during forest battles. So whenever there's forest about, we can take advantage of that. Now elite forest spirit units do cost Amber to recruit, but I think that's basically the same whether or not you're playing Elves or Arguelon. So there we go. We are going to be playing this one on hard. If you'd like to read the background, then feel free to pause it and read that yourself. But we're going to go ahead and start the campaign on hard difficulty.
The Azure have always hidden themselves away from the world. But that is no longer a luxury they can afford. This is why the spell singers have sent for me. The world roots begin to rot, and enemies prowl the sacred groves. Athelloren is in peril if the Wood Elves do not act. Summer is long gone. Now is the season of war. All trespassers will quickly learn the wrath of the Fae. Even the spirits of the wood have been roused to war. A young prince, chosen to take the mantle of the ages. The king in the wood, reborn. Now is the time to show who the true hunters of the wild are. Be ever vigilant, my eternal lord. I come to render my assistance to the forest, for this is a time of great peril for Athelloren. Potential enemies are at every turn. To the north, the Bretonnians lie in wait. We must tread carefully, for their expansionist desires are well known, yet they could be firm allies against other foes. Furthermore, greenskin incursions are increasing. They defile the sanctity of the forests with their filth. The only answer is war. Move against their mountain hovels and end their sorry sorties. To the west, the beastmen herds are massing. These cloven beasts will desecrate everything, including your sacred woodlands, unless stopped by force of arms. You must turn the tables, take the hunt to them. The taint of chaos must not despoil the king's glade. Though the men of the lowlands know the price of intrusion, they still trespass upon your hallowed groves. No more. Drive them from the forest's edge. The Oak of Ages is threatened, Lord Orion, and it is time to unite in their defense. The Azrae of Athel-Loren shall be ascendant. To war.
So here we are, guys, finally, after the long introduction to the Wood Elves. I hope you like that cinematic, it's just so awesome. And here we have our chapter objective issued. At the centre of the realms of Athel-Loren lies the Oak of Ages, beating heart of the forest and the sacred shrine of the Azrae. From the mighty oak, life flows into the forest and through the world. So our objective is basically to upgrade the Oak of Ages throughout the game. And this is basically the first step towards that, and it will award us with 2,000 in our treasury. Now, as for the Wood Elves, we do use Amber, and this is basically explaining how this works. If you guys would like to read that, then feel free, but basically, just a quick sort of overview. We get Amber from being in military alliances, we get Amber from occupying settlements, we can occupy any settlement. We can use Amber for buildings, technologies, and units. And basically Amber is like a finite source. Once you use it, it's sort of basically like units take it up until you like disband them. If you use it on a technology, it's permanent, so you get rid of that Amber forever. If you go negative, you get negative modifiers. But that's pretty much it. Let's just get straight into it. To start off with, we're at war with the Carcassonne, and Castle Carcassonne is here. This settlement will provide us with 2 amber if we head towards it. We are also, I believe, at war with the Beastmen. And the Beastmen, we can't see them at the moment, but I believe they're down here to the bottom left. Now, what we want to do, ideally, is start by setting up our economy. So I'm going to build some grapevines so we get the extra 800 income generated per turn. That'll be really, really useful. That's going to cost us 2,000 to build, but for 800 income per turn, it's more than worth it. We have Dodan here. I'm going to take him into the enemy province here, just so that we can keep an eye on what's going on. And we're going to deploy him. I'm not going to actually tell him to do anything just yet. And then what I'm going to do with Orion, we're going to move him to the very edge of the province here.
Clear a path.
And I'm going to start recruiting some more guys. So we're going to start by recruiting some Eternal Guard and a couple of Glade Guard. And then I'll probably do the same afterwards once we have enough cash. Because I want to build this army up as quickly as possible so that I can siege Castle Carcassonne and take it over for myself. It's going to take a couple turns to build the grapevines there. We do indeed need to choose a technology, so let's choose Morai Heg, the Crone. That will give us plus 10% ward save during forest battles and plus 5 leadership during forest battles. We have to basically do that from the start. It's the only one we can choose. For our objectives, I already talked about upgrading the Oak of Ages. As you can see, we need to get it all the way to the max here, Oak of Ages flourishing, in order to win the game. Then we have to win like a final battle in order to complete the campaign. But for our chapter objectives, we can get some extra cash, basically. So in order to get these 1,000 rewards, in this one we need to get 2,500 income per turn, which is very hard. So I probably won't do that. Probably won't get a spell singer just because the building required to get them is very expensive, and also the spell singer itself is expensive. Forest Lookout, again, very expensive in order to upgrade to that. We might be able to do this one, which is to defeat some beastmen, and Research 3 technologies, we might end up doing that before upgrading the Oak of Ages as well. It just depends how long it takes us to get the amber in order to do so. Not really going to hang about though, just because the upgrades to the Oak of Ages give faction-wide bonuses. So, for example, this one only costs 1,500 and it gives us plus 2 public order faction-wide, minus 10% upkeep for all units, and a reduction in vampiric and chaos corruption. So you can see a massive upgrade there just for 1,500, and as you keep going, it only gets better. And then once we get to the third one, the Oak of Ages Budding, we get the ability to do the Join Confederation Diplomacy demand, which will allow us to start to incorporate the other Elvish realms, like these guys here, Torgavan and Widrioth, and then Arguelon at the top. So there we go. Right, that's pretty much everything explained. For our diplomacy, we can only trade with Wood Elves at the moment. We're going to start by trying to get non-aggression pacts with both of the Elvish nations. That will improve our relations over time. And then that will lead to trade agreements, which will bring us in more money. So let's end the turn. We'll move on. And I'm just going to keep building more forces. We'll get another Glade Guard there. And I'll probably keep going with buying more units. Dodan can just remain deployed. Although I'm tempted to sort of move him down here to see what's going on with the Beastmen, because they might head in this direction. But for now, we'll just move on to the next turn again. Just skip this turn. Yeah, the Beastmen are on their way.
The hunter.
We have a lot of archers now. They have a lot of peasant bowmen, and they should be easy to kill. So let's just go for a couple more units, and then we'll go and siege that province. It looks like Durthu, he's the leader of Arguelon, is coming down to attack maybe the Beastmen or Castle Carcassonne as well. So maybe you'll help us out. But now that we have discovered him, can we set up our non-aggression pact? No, we can't. So that's about it. We also have this offices. I haven't actually covered this yet. Basically, Orion gets extra income from raising settlements. The Elder Speaker gets like extra experience per turn for their units, and extra aura size, and extra income from trade agreements. Protector of the Oaks, all to do with like the tree men and like tree armies, but we probably won't use that very often. And then you've got all of these other seats here as well, and these can only be occupied by elven leaders. If I go to the Kingsglade and go to Recruit Lord, you'll see that we have elven leaders, and then we also have ancient treemen. Ancient treemen can't actually take up like council positions. Only Durthu can, this guy here, once we make him join us in a confederation. He is an absolute beast though. So yeah, that's about it again for this turn. So I'll move on to the next one. And hopefully you guys are okay with me explaining it the way I am. It looks like Durthu did indeed attack the Beastmen. At the moment, we just got a new event happen. Asur Druchi, or Druchii. Carried by the elegant hewn ships, our cousins have travelled from the distant lands of Ulthuan to visit us. After so many long years, they have finally deigned to visit their forest brethren. Is this a gracious visit or an omen of arrogance? Do you consider this a slight or a blessing? Will you grant them an audience with the Elven Council? So we either give them an audience and get extra trade and minus public order, or we do nothing. And then we're going to do nothing just because we don't actually have any trade at the moment, and we don't need the negative public order penalty considering we're already -6.
God King of the Deepwood.
So we're going to start to move towards Castle Carcassonne now. And faction encountered Arguelon, so let's set up our non-aggression pact if we can. Brilliant. Oh, we might be able to get... we'll get military access as well, while we can. And I might be able to get a defensive alliance. No, I can't. Okay. I was pushing it a bit. But maybe what we can do is use both this military access and non-aggression pact to improve our relations, and then get the defensive alliance. That would be really, really useful. Okay.
Protector of the oak.
So that's again everything I can do for this turn in terms of our treasury. We're still gaining 661 per turn, which is actually okay. Not too bad at all. Let me see if I can get trade agreements.
Our homeland persist through all.
I can. Awesome. Okay.
We will see our homeland persist through all the coming ages.
This one I can't get a trade agreement with, but that extra 61 per turn will be useful with the following turns to come. Okay, so Durthu was wrecked by the Beastmen. What I might actually do is take out these Beastmen tribes, just so that they don't disrupt me attacking Castle Carcassonne. Because ideally I just want to attack Castle Carcassonne and siege it. I don't necessarily want to assault it. So this is going to allow us to wipe out this army anyway. I think what I'll do for this one, considering it's our first ever battle on Total War Warhammer, I'm going to show it off to you guys. So let's jump in and fight this one on the battle map. So here we are on the battlefield. Here are our units. Let me just quickly show them off to you guys. We've got the Eternal Guard. These are our spear infantry. We have the Eternal Guard, which are spear infantry with shields. And we have the Way Watchers, who are basically like elite bowmen, the best of the best. They can remain hidden pretty much anywhere on the map. We have Deepwood Scouts, which are basically the sort of next level down. And then we have our Glade Guard, which are the simple most bowmen. Very, very awesome elves. Then we have Wild Riders. These are elves on deer, basically. And they come with a spear and a sword. So they're actually pretty proficient in melee combat after they charge, and they do make a devastating charge. And then we have the Hawk Riders. These are very cool units, and basically they are fantastic for changing the course of the battle, in terms of they can just skirmish as much as they want from the sky, and then once you want them to, they can use those hawks to dive into the ground and attack people on the ground. And that's one massive difference that comes into Warhammer, is that we do have the ability to use flying units, and we do have to be wary of that throughout the game. So anyway, here we have our archers. I'm just going to place my infantry behind them with Orion. So let's start this battle. We're going to have to get them down from this hill. So I'm just going to get my Glade Guard to... Actually, what we'll do, I think I might approach up here. I'm not sure. Maybe we should just... I'll just run up to them. I'll get them in range, and then I'll just pepper them until they run down the hill. Because I believe I have a longer range than them. I can also just get my Hawk Riders to start harassing them. I'm going to get my Wild Riders on the flanks, and I'm also going to make sure that my Eternal Guard are moving up to defend the archers as soon as they need to. We'll get Orion up as well. He can throw spears at the enemies. So here go our Hawk Riders. Now I believe their archers can remain hidden in the open just like ours can, or at least our most elite ones can. So I might just take a volley here. Yeah, here we go. They're going to charge down towards me. But I'm going to try and get a volley off and I'll fly away. So you can see that they actually did quite a lot of damage, even though there's only 18 of them. And now here go my Glade Guard. I'm going to make sure that we're focusing the Ungor Spearman herd. Just because we can absolutely annihilate them with the amount of bows that we have. So I'm just going to make sure that my archers attack their Ungor Raiders, which are their bowmen. I'm actually going to move this line back slightly so that they can fire more efficiently. I'm going to charge Orion into the melee. We're going to get my Wild Riders to come around the back here. And I'm also going to get my Hawk Riders to come back as well, and they can fire down into the Ungor herd. Actually, what I might do is charge down the Ungor Raiders with my cavalry. Here go the volleys again. Look at them just get mown down as they run away. Watch this. Oh, okay. Oh, a lot of them missed because they went out of range, but there we go. Right, let's make sure that they don't chase too much. I'm going to bring back the cavalry to attack the Ungor herd. I'm going to make sure that my Eternal Guard help him out, because Orion's kind of left on his own at the moment, and look at that charge. Just incredible. So much damage done there. And we are going to just cut them down. Looks like enemies coming back into range. They made that mistake once before, and they made the same mistake again. You can see that Ungor Spearman herd just got absolutely wrecked. Okay, so let's get Orion now to attack Goros Heartrender, and we only need to like win this battle to destroy their army, and it looks like we did just that. These guys losing a lot of men again. Let's end the battle there for a decisive victory, and that should destroy their army. We lost 80 men. I believe that's probably worse than the auto-resolve would have been, but I wanted to show you guys the units, and honestly, we got a lot of kills for our units, and we got a lot of experience from doing that. So there we go, decisive victory. We got 302 cash for doing that. We're going to release the captives, and that's killed the army. So that's going to level up Orion, and what I'm going to do is get ever-reaching tendrils to get the campaign map movement range. Then what I'm also going to do is get Dodan to come over here and maybe try and assassinate this guy, because if we can, I think that will destroy the Beastmen. Okay, well that failed anyway. So what I'm going to do next turn is I'll embed Dodan into Orion's army, and we will attack Khazrak the One-Eye. Right, we need to choose a new technology. So I think we're going to go for the Val the Maker, because that's going to give us income from all buildings, and Elenil gives us recruitment cost reduction for Dryad units and charge bonus for Dryad units, which basically is useless for us because we're not going to be using Dryads for a very long time. We have the extra income anyway now from this new building, the Grapevines. We've had that for a few turns now, which has been really helpful. So we have nothing much else to do. I'm just going to end it there. The Beastmen army, it looks like they're going to try and move away. Which means I might have a chance to siege Castle Carcassonne. Anyway, the Great Council. The Lords of Ladies and Ladies of Athelloren gather every so often to discuss and determine the future of the Astray. Their word, once the debate is concluded, is proclaimed throughout the forests and enacted immediately. At this moment they have decided that more funds are required if Athelloren is to prosper. So they've given us 1,500, that's very nice of them. Castle Carcassonne is only getting stronger, but what we're going to do is possibly siege it. I think I might need to go back to the Kingsglaive for now. I'm just going to try and assassinate Khazrak, because he's still on his own. Critical failure. Dodan has died. Okay, he's wounded. He'll be back in 5 turns. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, guys. That critical failure was not very good. Now we're just going to move straight on to the next turn. Just because we need to get Orion back into friendly territory, and they're still making more troops there. At the Kingsglaive we can actually upgrade already. So I'm tempted to do so, although I kind of need to keep the cash for now. I'm going to get a couple more Glade Guard and one more Eternal Guard. I'll probably have to max out this army in order to take over Castle Carcassonne. But at least we got rid of the Beastmen, and at least we got some experience for doing that. So again, just going to move straight on. I want to save as much amber as possible so I can upgrade to the Oak of Ages Withered as soon as possible. So that's what I'm basically planning to do at the moment.
Lord of the Asray.
Right, and what I'm going to do actually is sit in the King's Glade for this turn and then recruit a couple more dudes. So we're going to get another couple Eternal Guard and Glade Guard, and then we'll get the +12 public order this turn from military presence. And then what we can do is take a couple turns to head towards Castle Carcassonne, and then we'll siege that down and probably assault it, honestly. Depends what sort of units they have in their city.
My lord, a rival power desires a change in your mutual relations.
So here we go, we have Findol, or Widrioth, asking me for a trade agreement for 100. That's fine. For an extra 61 per turn. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, and now what we want to do is move back as far as we can towards that settlement so that we can siege it next turn. Okay, so considering Dodan is still going to be knocked out for another 2 turns, not much else to do. Very slow start with the Wood Elves. They do take quite a while to get going, but once they get some of their like amazing units, they start getting their economy started. Like, they really do get going. But either way, Carcassonne are offering me 600 for a peace treaty, so they are obviously scared of me at the moment, which means I might be able to get away with sieging Carcassonne. The Beastmen have been destroyed, thank God. And it looks like a mission has been issued to raid a region belonging to the enemies of Argulon, which is Karak Norn, which is basically Grimhold and all that up here, the dwarves. That will give us 650 cash and +5 diplomatic relations with Argulon. Speaking of which, I might be able to get a defensive alliance, or even a military alliance. Look at that. That will give us extra amber. That is very useful. So let's do that. Can we do that with
I will not believe a
these
word you
guys?
say. But speak,
Defensive alliance? No. Maybe military access, just so that we start improving our relationship even more.
you have been granted
And
safe
Widrioth.
passage.
Okay.
Now,
They don't really like us very much. Now let's get and start and siege Castle Carcassonne. It looks like Durthu was actually the one who took out the Beastmen. And this is actually really good. Look at this. Okay, so a lot of mounted yeomen for Carcassonne. And that means that we can take the walls and then fire down upon them with the Deepwood Scouts. So what I'm going to do is build a few siege towers. We get 2 for every one of these built. And that will continue for now. But unfortunately, guys, this has been my time. So you got a small introduction to the battles today. Hopefully you enjoyed the introduction to the campaign in general. I really thoroughly enjoy Total War Warhammer. I think it's an amazing game, and I really look forward to showing off more of this to you guys. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to be trying to put these out at least 2 a day. 2 episodes a day, and 3 for the first day. So look out for the next few hours for the next episode. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.